Hi everybody. In this video we are going to go over section 4 of chapter 6, and here we are going to try to find values of a normally distributed random variable. Specifically, in this particular section, we are going to be given a probability and we need to find the z-score associated with that probability. For example, we'll be given the area. For one case, we'll be given the area to the left of a standard normal curve. We'll be told what that area is, and we need to find out what the z-score is. In another problem, we might be given the area to the right of a particular z-score. Say that area might be 0.6, and we need to figure out what that z-score is. And then we might be given the area in the middle of the curve, and we want to find the z-score, the minus z and the positive z that is bounded between that bounds that particular area. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to it. Here's our first one, and this is best shown by an example. Suppose that we want to find the z-score for a given area to the left. What z-score has an area of 0.7357 to its left? And we want to round this to 2 decimal places. There's 2 ways to do this. The first way is using Hawks. The second way is using your calculator. To use your calculator, what you want to do is you want to go into the distribution function, namely second VARS, and we are looking for inverse normal, which is this one right here. Okay, hit enter. And notice what the one here is the area, and this will always be the area to the left. So here, since this is the area to the left, we just want to go ahead and type that in. 0.7357. Since we're dealing with a standard normal, the mean will be 0. The standard deviation will be 1. And hit paste, and that is our answer. Our answer happens to be 0.6301. Let's see if actually the next slide agrees with that. And actually it does. It gives us a z of 0.63, or more precisely 6301. And actually, since we're dealing with z-scores, most of our z-scores have a precision of 2 decimal places, so 0.63 is perfectly fine. Now you can also figure that out using the tables in Hawks. And the way you would do that is to go to the normal table, negative infinity to z, whenever the z value is greater than 0.5, you want to use this, okay? And notice here, we have 0.7, and also notice that these values are always are monotonically increasing. So what you can do is just keep on following the table until you find the value. If it's too high, you just need to move back. And once you find it, then you will find this in the interior of the table. And once you find it, then you can use this column right here to figure out your 10th place, and this row right here to figure out your 10th place, and then this column right here to figure out your 100th place. So this will be 0.63, which of course will be the exact same answer. Now, to find out the z-score to the right of a decimal place, that is a little trickier, primarily because your calculator only computes areas to the left. Okay, but it still is not that big of a deal. Suppose that we want to find the z-score of an area that is of 2.005 to the right, which specifically means that we are looking for this area right here. Okay, but one of the cool things about the standard normal is that it's symmetric about 0. So this area, which has the value of z, is the same as this area right here, which will return for you a negative z. So what you can do is look up this area. It's going to give you a number, namely this. Take the negative of that number, and that is your answer. For example, if you computed this and it gave you a number, and the computer gave you a calculator gave you a value of negative 0.31, then your answer is going to be 0.31. Okay, well, let's go ahead and see how this will work. Once again, we can go into inverse norm, second distribution, inverse norm, hit enter. Okay, But now we want to use the exact same area that is here, so that's going to be 0.2005. Okay, hit enter for 0, 1, paste, and that's going to be your answer. Notice that our answer is negative 8.98, but once again, since we're looking for since that's the area to the right of z, then the correct value for z, or the value that we want to use, is going to be the negative of that. So z here will be equal to positive 0.839, which will round to, that should be a 9, to 0.84. Which is exactly what I have here. Which is exactly what we have here. Now, if you actually have the newer TI, the newer TI-84 Plus, the Plus CE, you can actually specify right, center, and left. If you have the TI-84 Plus, it only does left. So what you have to do is, once again, realize that when you're looking for the area to the right, you take that value and you change the sign. Okay, well, what about if you're using Hawk's tables? Well, if you're using Hawk's tables, remember, the tables only give you the area to the left as well. So what you would need to do is find that value. Is go to the appropriate table, and since the area happens to be less than 0.5, that means your z is going to be negative. So you want to use the table negative infinity to negative z. Find 0.2005, which would happen to be here. And once again, remember, this is monotonically increasing, so you just keep on going up the scale until you get to where you need to be. Then this is the 10th place. That is the 100th place. Now remember, since this is the area to the left, the area to the right, or since this is z-score for the area to the left, the z-score for the area to the right is going to be the negative value, which will be this. And for my last example, we are going to need to find the z-score for a given area between negative z and z. Okay, so in this particular case, we want to find the z-score such that the area between negative z and z is 0.9, and we want to round for 3 decimal places in this case. Well, once again, the important thing to remember is that your TI-84 Plus and Hawk's only works with areas to the left. So they need to know what this area is, and that will give you the negative value for z, or that will give you negative z, and of course then your answer is going to be the positive value of that, because remember, the answer we're looking for is the absolute value of negative z in this particular case. So if our total area is 0.9, then the area in the tails, and that is both tails, this tail and that tail, is going to be 1 minus 0.9. Okay? And then finally, the area, I'm going to call this the right tail, in the right tail is going to be 1/2 of that. So this will be 1 minus 0.9 divided by 2. That will be 0.1 divided by 2, which will give us 0.05. And if you think about it, remember, the area under this entire curve is 1. Here is 0.9 of it. Okay, the rest of the area is going to be split evenly between here and here. The rest of the area is 0.1. Half of it's over here. Okay, so when we do our lookups or our computation on our TI-84 Plus calculator, this is the area that we want to use. Once we've done that, it's going to give us a negative value for z, and then our answer is going to be the positive value. Just get rid of the minus sign. All right, so in this particular case, we are looking for the z-score associated with an area of 0.05. Now, once again, you can go into here, second vars to actually get there, or just keep in mind, or if you don't want to do that anymore, you can just go ahead and use the history here. Okay, so I'm going to do that in this particular case, and now the only difference is instead of the area being 0.2005, I'm just looking for 0.05, and I can get that by deleting the 2, deleting that, and that's what I'm looking for, 0.05 mean 0, standard deviation 1, hit enter, and that should be my answer. I get an answer, oh, well, there it is. I get an answer of negative 1.6448. Of course, I don't want to deal with the negative sign, just get rid of that. That gives me this, and since I'm rounding to 3 decimal places, we will round to we will round up to 1.645. Okay, now what about using your Hawks tables? Well, in this particular case, it's a little different. And for this particular one, they actually have, you can actually use the table that says normal table 0 to z. And if that's the case, then the area from 0, okay, to z, we can actually go to another one. The area between 0 to z is going to be this half right here, right? Which is 0.45. So if we're going to use the tables that go from 0 to z, this is the area that we're looking for, okay? And that particular area, and so if you go down here, we'll realize that we can't find that particular value. But notice that this is below it by 0.005, and this value is above it by 0.005. That means the z-score in the middle is the one we want. So essentially, a z-score of 1.64 is below it. The z of 1.65 is above it by the exact same amount. And so the average of the two is going to be 1.645, which is exactly what we got when we used the when we used the TI-84. And that is all I have for this particular video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. This is Bob Oil, signing off.